What's up, guys? I don't have my phone set up, so there might be a little movement. But anyway, I'm going to do a review today. I haven't done one in quite some time, and this one is going to be, I think it was like 1997, 98, something like that. This band is called ZAO. They were one of the original Christian metalcore bands. The album I'm going to be reviewing is, okay, it's got two names. One of them is in Latin, so I'm going to try to say it right. Liberate te ex inferis, which translated means save yourself from hell. This album was freaking awesome. I love this album. I think ZAO's first album, they had something earlier than the one I'm about to mention, but I can't remember what it was. But there was one album back in the early 90s, and then they released A Splinter, Shards, The Birth of Separation. And I believe that was a different singer. I can't remember. It's been a while. But then they released oh shoot. It's got a burning dude on it. Can't remember the name of that one. And then this one came out, Save Yourself from Hell. But this album was awesome, man. I love Dan's vocals. He's got some of the best metal vocals, in my opinion. He does most of his stuff is pretty high, kind of, you know, that kind of thing. But he does some low stuff too. You know, some of my favorite songs on this album are, if I can remember the names of them, Desire the End is an awesome. Ghost Psalm, that's an awesome song. I just downloaded a song by them, If These Scars Could Speak. That's an awesome song. It's got acoustic at the beginning. And then there's a couple songs that have acoustic in them, which is really an awesome contrast with, you know, they'll go it'll be acoustic guitar, and then it'll thrash into this metal guitar, and it's freaking awesome, man. But anyway, you know, these guys came out and they were a Christian metal band, by the way, and these guys came out when Christian metal was not heard of, basically. I mean, there was a few bands, like maybe Extol, you know, some of those, I think Striper, if you remember Stripe, I think it was Striper. They were a Christian metal band in the or hard rock band in the 80s, but you know, none of those bands got really any validity to them, I guess. But when these guys came out, it really opened the gates for a lot of other bands to come out. Like pretty much Tooth and Nail Records was doing a lot with Christian metal bands, and then Solid State Records spawned off of Tooth and Nail, and there was a lot of Christian metal bands on that label. I can't remember a lot of the names of them now, but it's been quite some time. There's one that I'm thinking of, Embodiment. Embodiment was, they were a lot like ZAO sound-wise, and but anyway, getting back to the album, if you want to hear some original metalcore, you know, hardcore, well, not hardcore, I wouldn't say that, they weren't real fast, but you know, they even had you know, small touches of deathcore in their sound, you know, before deathcore was deathcore. But you know, when you think of metalcore, you're probably thinking of like 2000s metalcore bands. these guys weren't anything like the 2000s metalcore bands, you know, the soft singing and then the screechy high screaming voice. ZAO wasn't about that. They were real dark. They had a lot of dark guitar sounds, a lot of offbeat guitar riffs, a lot of what is it called? It's not negative, but can't remember. But you know, if you want to check some good metal out, check these guys out. You know, they didn't get a whole lot of recognition because the problem was, if they would have came out in, you know, in the 2000s, they probably would have got more recognition, but nobody was doing this at the time. And it did open the floodgates for a lot of other bands, but the problem was ZAO kind of got covered up by all these other bands coming out, and they never got the full recognition that was deserved. And they put quite a few albums out. After Save Yourself from Hell, they released, I think it was either Parade of Chaos or I think it was a self-titled album they released after that, and then I think Parade of Chaos was after that, and then they released one called The Funeral of God. And let me mention this too. As they, you know, progressed in their career, you know, they had a lot of band member changes, and you know, at first when they came out, they were all about God and all about, you know, being a Christian metal band, and you know, today, and they released an album called Awake. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and I didn't really like it. Over the years, they kind of lost their, honestly, I think they lost their focus. You know, I think if they would have stayed, you know, true to themselves and what they were about, things might have been different. But like I said, they changed band members, they lost their focus of what they were doing, and you know, they were just writing songs. And you know, I love metal, don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing them because they didn't stay Christian or anything, but you got to have some kind of focus when you're in a band, and I think they lost their focus. So anyway, like I said, Dan went through a lot, the lead singer went through a lot of depression, a lot of questions about God and eternity and all that kind of stuff, and he pretty much lost his faith. And from what I've seen, interviewed with him, you know, he's pretty much said we're not a Christian band anymore, although they want to play Cornerstone, which is a Christian music festival, but we'll see if they ever play it again. But yeah, so, you know, I'm sad to see that you know, the band's not as good as they once were, but you know, some bands can stick it out, some bands can't. I really miss their good sound, but maybe one day they'll release an album that's decent again. Awake just was, there was a couple songs on there that were alright at the best, you know, but the rest was just like mediocre crap. But rest in peace, ZAO, one of my favorite all-time metalcore bands, and I'm going to give that album right there about 4.5 stars. That was a kick-ass album. And that's all I got, folks. See you next time.